All right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Filmtasmic where we talk anything and everything Disney. And today we have a special treat because we are talking about the first two episodes of WandaVision. WandaVision. Yep. First two episodes of the first Marvel content that we've gotten in almost a year. And my
Mhm.
God, it's been refreshing.
Yeah.
Just see that title card.
Isn't it kind of weird to have Marvel back like in our lives?
Marvel's back.
It just feels so good. Like, you know what I mean?
It's been a tough year.
It is.
Yeah.
And what a way to come back with this, huh?
Mhm.
Like, so it's been fun seeing like all the WandaVision kind of promos and stuff like that, seeing all the TV sitcoms and stuff like that. So the season synopsis for WandaVision are: after the events of Avengers Endgame, Wanda Maximoff and Vision are living the ideal suburban life in the town of Westview, trying to conceal their powers. As they begin to enter the new decades and encounter television tropes, the couple suspects that things are not as they seem. And we've seen this already in the first two episodes. Episode one has been titled Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience, and episode two is titled Don't Touch That Dial. So when we see episodes one and two, we kind of get the feel of like Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, Bewitched. And so it's cool to see like their the opening credit scenes too. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the opening credit scenes for both shows, I mean, obviously it says like their character name. It's not going to say Elizabeth Olsen or Paul Bettany. It says Wanda Maximoff and Vision.
Mhm.
They spend a lot of those two episodes just trying to blend in and fit in with their neighbors. But we also see like the kind of classic sitcom storylines and like the mix-ups and all that stuff too. So what are your guys' thoughts or favorite moments from these first two episodes?
I think it's like what you said. It brings back like Dick Van Dyke vibes and Bewitched and all that. Like, it's cool to see the black and white, kind of that kind of comedy too. Um, it's just really interesting how they did it and seeing the different styles and the different backgrounds and props they used. Yeah, it's better. It's way better than I thought it was gonna be, honestly. Like, I think I went in with low expectations, even though it is Marvel. Um, and I thought I would feel way more confused than I actually did.
Oh yeah, because it's funny you said that because I had heard. Well, I've heard a lot of mixed things. What I've seen online, a lot of people hate it, like the first two episodes, and a lot of people love it.
Mm.
And they thought a lot of people are like, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
And like you, I didn't really feel that confused. But I think it's because, like you said, I went into it thinking like, I don't know if I'm gonna really like this,
Hmm.
just because I thought it was gonna be. There was a show called Marvel Agents of Shield, I think on ABC a few, like maybe 10 years ago at this point, and I really didn't like
Yeah,
that
it was like
show.
right after it was set like right after Avengers 1, yeah.
Yeah, the first Avengers, yeah. And I was like, I really just didn't care for that show, and I thought it was gonna be kind of similar, or I thought it was gonna have like similar tones.
Mm.
But I really loved the old school feel of it. Like, so I watched it with my mom, and I was like, I love this kind of show, like, because I feel like I haven't seen a show in a while that's just kind of, well, maybe I didn't get all the hints, but I really just thought it was like light and airy. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't too deep, and it wasn't like, maybe I missed a lot of stuff, but like I was like, this is just enjoy, like the first two episodes at least were like very enjoyable. They were easy to watch. It was like just a good time. So I was like, I'm into it.
It's like fun
Right?
and quirky, yeah.
It felt,
Yeah.
yeah, like those fun, quirky, old time family shows that you could watch
Yeah.
with your
Like I
family.
would rewatch these first two episodes again and again.
I already
Like I
have.
would have no problem rewatching it over and over.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Did you guys used to watch like old TV shows like that too, like on Nick at Night or like TV Land?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of Dick Van Dyke, Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch for
Um,
sure.
what else was there? There's a whole bunch of
I
different
loved the
things.
Munsters.
The
Oh, Monsters
Monsters.
was
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
I loved the Munsters. I Dream of Jeannie was cool. Bewitched
Hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
good. Happy Days was probably one of my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice this too, though. The shows that they're being like, they're parroting are shows that have to do with like couples or families. Because like if you
Right.
watch the promos, it's like Modern Family, Family Ties. We're getting into Brady Bunch. We got like Dick Van Dyke. I Love Lucy, Bewitched,
Yeah.
Hmm.
a little bit of I
Hmm.
Dream of Jeannie in there. it's not like Gilligan's Island or like
No.
the Munsters. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
has
yeah.
to specifically do with families and couples and stuff like that. And I think that's gonna
Right.
there's a specific sort of reason for that too. But yeah, it is very like fun and quirky.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned the episode name, really quick, the film before a live audience,
Mhm.
and that's one of the things I really love because we don't see that in shows anymore, where we hear the like the laugh track or the live studio audience in the background. So I was like, oh, that's like a throwback. I like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I was reading too that they actually did film this in front of a live audience, and Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen were like pacing back and forth because they were nervous.
Really?
Yeah, because like they've
Huh.
never, for Marvel at least, they've never done this sort of thing where they're filming in front of an audience.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, dang, if I was watching that, I probably had to like sign my like life away because you know how secret.
Yeah.
Was it just this
Yeah.
first episode, or was it?
I don't know if they got like all the episodes or just these first two, but like, man, that must have been really cool to see.
Right? I wonder what the people, if they even told people what they were going to go in and watch. Where they're just like, surprise, this is what
Yeah.
it is.
Like just like yeah, exactly. Like
Mhm.
whatever you see here, you cannot say anything. Like they do
We
the
will
men-
find you. Like,
Yeah.
And I didn't know they still did that, like film. Like I know they do like talk shows, but I didn't know they did like TV shows in front of an audience. It just
Yeah.
reminded me because I just watched the Fresh Prince reunion
Mm.
and like how
Me
it
too.
opened up. You know, when they had the audience there, and I was like, wow, like you can't even do that anymore. Like go see a show. You know.
yeah.
Not like Friends or Seinfeld where you're like they have a studio audience like watching like all your
Yeah.
mishaps and, like, or like Full
Mhm.
House.
Yeah.
But there are moments in episode 1 and 2 where things start to get a little weird. So you can kind of see Wanda and Vision kind of like, I guess, would you call it breaking the fourth wall? But I kind of called it like snapping out of it. And that's sort of like the hint to what is really going on. It had like an Alfred Hitchcock
Yeah.
sort of like Twilight Zone sort of feel to it. So like you saw her snap out of it with like when Mr. Hart was choking.
Yeah.
And you saw the helicopter and then
Mhm.
the beekeeper coming out of that manhole too. So
Or Dottie bleeding from her hand.
yeah, Dottie
Yeah.
bleeding. Like who's
Yeah.
doing this to you, Wanda?
Mhm.
That kind of thing too. So I think maybe Royce, that's kind of like what you were saying, like, oh, I don't really like it because I'm confused. Well, that's Wanda's weird. Like like a weird person.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' thoughts on the whole breaking the fourth wall, Wanda snapping out of it? What do you
I think like it made us snap out of it too. We're like, oh, we're like in it with them. Like, oh, it's a fun family couple
Yeah.
show in the
know it all?
50s.
Oh yeah,
and
this
then,
is what's
oh, wait,
supposed to
what?
happen. This
Like,
isn't,
you know, it threw
this is
us
reality
off with her
whatever's
as well.
trying to come in.
And we're like,
It made me sad to have I was like, no, like this is like a little it felt like an escape from reality to like
Yes.
just go back to simpler times. And like every time like I was like, Wanda, what's happening? Like when we heard those moments,
Mhm.
like, no, that means something else is really happening. And I don't want that.
yeah, we just
I
want
just
them
want
to
her
stay
to be happy in the
Yeah.
50s or wherever she's what time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting that the neighbors are sort of snapping out of it too, because you had Dottie, her hand was bleeding, and then you had
And didn't
Mrs.
she say like, where am I? Or like she asked
she
something.
was very much like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, that
Yeah.
thing, like
Yeah.
I don't know you. Like what? Yeah,
They
that-
snapped out of character too. Yeah.
I don't. It kind of felt like Dottie was more like, not like a "what am I doing here" kind of thing, but it was more like I just don't know who you are. She had nothing. She didn't say anything about like the neighborhood or Westview or anything like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's why I was kind of just like, oh god, now the neighbors are involved in this too.
Yeah, and the weird part was when Mr. Hart was choking too. Like the wife was like in character but semi-breaking character.
Kind of.
Kitty from 70s Show, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
Freaking Kitty Foreman.
Dude, I want them to do that 70s show.
But that's not like a family thing. That's the thing. Like I was wanting that too.
But yeah, I was like, do it for the 70s. But anyways, that'd been cool. But anyways, like she stayed in character, but not like she was like, stop it. But then she started crying, but still smiling at the same time. I'm like, this is weird.
So
Like,
freaky.
This-
yeah.
Was a lovely dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's from
Yeah.
Europe.
So Covian.
Yeah.
But
That
and by
part.
the way, I love the scenic choice to make like the bleeding red and like how we see those little like the color choices in there. I thought
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Specifically red,
Red.
right?
Red.
Like
Which
a
actually
helicopter.
well, yeah, I was about to say, yeah, the helicopter was red, and then actually in one of the commercials, the Toastmate 2000 from Stark Industries,
Oh
the
yes.
the blinking red light, and that was like the first thing of color. I don't know if you guys saw this though, but throughout the show, like when the helicopter came out,
Yeah.
since we're talking about like breaking the fourth wall, was it me or did the show a little bit more of everything else changing color? Was that just me?
Oh, I didn't
Like
notice
an
that.
actual
May have to
color?
rewatch it.
Yeah. Like as soon as she
Yeah.
picked it up, like her skin turns like the normal color, not black and white. Like the background, it's starting to turn like a not black and white kind of color.
Oh.
Maybe I
I
was
gotta
just
rewatch that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch that too.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I don't know,
Maybe it's for certain people that could see the color, and Royce and I are like those
You're
ones that
colorblind,
can't. Yeah.
It's like those
We're not the
things where
chosen
like
ones. No, yeah, after the helicopter, I think that's when it started to get more intense with the breaking um into reality, right? Like when it said,
Yeah.
Wanda, who's doing this to you? And
It
then,
happened 3 times in episode 2.
yeah, and then Dottie
Yeah.
breaking character, and then the beekeeper coming out of the manhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just intensified.
And the
I was like,
credits
whoa.
are totally different. Like that when they show the credits, how it's like totally. It's very Marvel, right? The credits.
Okay,
So, like,
yeah. And speaking of that, I was like, oh, there's 7 minutes left in this show. That means it's gonna
Yeah.
be
You thought
something
that too?
after. I waited. I'm like, this is all just credits. What am I doing?
like 7 minutes of credits for a 20-minute.
What are
Yeah.
these names?
Yeah.
One thing that happened, and I think this was kind of like clever in the episodes, was like a quick 30-second commercial. So
Yeah.
earlier we said the Toastmate 2000 from Stark Industries, and then we also have Strucker watches in the style of that decade, but like still like a play off of Marvel Cinematic Universe moments, right?
Yeah.
Stark Industries being, I kind of have a theory of why it's these specific, but kind of noticed too that one is Stark Industries because Wanda and Pietro's parents were killed from a Stark bomb, and then Strucker watches because your mind just blew, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I think deeply about this stuff. And then Strucker watches because in Avengers Age of Ultron, Wolfgang von Strucker experimented on the Maximoff twins to
Yeah. And it said Hydra on the watch too.
and it said Hydra. There was a
Like,
Hydra.
you guys are
logo.
paying attention to all these little like. This is like a
See,
fanboy like.
Yeah, and then why are those two people the same people in every commercial?
I'm curious as to why also.
I heard a theory, but I'm not sure if it's true. I heard a theory that those two are her adoptive parents.
Mm.
Oh.
And yeah, so maybe, she's making that into her show.
No, I was just gonna say it's deep. I didn't think. I just thought like, oh, this is a fun little like sitcom like show.
Royce.
I guess not.
Like I'm questioning everything that's going on in this show.
Yeah.
Like why are you standing there? Why do you have an apron on?
Why you have that hairstyle?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Why are you drinking orange juice?
yeah. Why you guys sing yakety yak?
Yeah, why yakety
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an idea why it's yakety yak. Like also too, like the gum that he chew, I'm like, big red, huh?
Mmm.
Huh.
Red skull.
But I feel like we'll see more of this too, because Wanda's the character who's gone through a lot in the MCU.
Yeah.
Right? Her brother died, her boyfriend died, all this stuff. She got into a fight with her boyfriend and all this stuff.
See,
She had to be locked up. She's gone through so much. So it's kind of like these commercials are like the traumatizing moments that she's been through. And
but
they just
isn't
in her head.
Oh.
see that's why I was thinking it's her adoptive parents, because isn't her birth parent Magneto?
In the comics, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's gonna help move into introducing like X-Men in that into the Marvel world.
Yeah.
Oh, because they are in the Marvel world now, right?
Yeah,
Or they
now
were
they
purchased by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism, yes, they are.
Thanks, Cap.
So WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, and Spider-Man 3 are supposed to kind of be connected to each other. So
Oh.
so from what I've seen too, it's the creator has been working with John Watts and Sam Raimi. And John Watts is the director of Spider-Man films, and Sam Raimi will be directing think Doctor Strange too. I think it's going to be him. I don't think it's Scott Dickerson from the first one. But yeah, so they're supposedly working together so that there's like a nice sort of handoff to it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It'll be
Oh,
like
I
a
didn't know that.
smooth transition kind of thing.
Yeah.
Smooth operator.
I knew you were gonna say that. I don't know.
But another part in this this series is the role of Sword. Sword in the comics stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Department. That's what's in the comics, but in the MCU, it's a little bit different. It's now Sentient Weapons Observation and Response Division. So we see these references with the Man in the Beekeeper episode. The man watching the show at the end of it, right? He's watching the end credits, and you can kind of see the notebook. There's a Sword logo on there. There's some TV screens going on there, and you see, the Beekeeper and then the toy helicopter. So it's confirmed already that Jimmy Woo, who's played by none other than Randall Park. So Jimmy Woo from Ant-Man and the Wasp, he and Darcy, who is from Thor and Thor: The Dark World, are confirmed agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., along with one other character. We'll get into that one a little bit later. So we actually hear Jimmy Woo's voice in the radio saying, "Who's doing this to you, Wanda?" Yeah, I'm curious as to what the role. What do you guys think that sort of role will come into play for them? Because clearly they're huge in this if they're going to be shown this much.
Well, because Jimmy Woo, he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? And then Ant-Man and the Wasp were through what was that realm that they had? The quantum realm, right? So maybe I don't know, maybe he's trying to find a connection to that or something.
Yeah.
But, and then Kat Dennings from Thor, huh?
Yeah, Kat Dennings.
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 From Thor, she was super smart, right? And scientist or something. So maybe they're trying to find a way like into her quote unquote vision of her alternate reality. I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be asked. But Randall Park is shown to be in like, I think 6 episodes at least.
Oh.
So I don't know if that includes just his voice.
Yeah.
But
I'm hoping it's him.
I'm hoping too.
Yeah. I hope
but
it's him.
How is the Beekeeper part of Sword?
So
like, how did we get that?
I don't know why it's specifically bees. Some people have like gone to stretch that like that's actually like a comic character named Swarm.
That's what I read. That could have been Swarm.
But I don't know if that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know if people are really like doing that or anything like that. But what I do think that person is trying to do, and actually what they're all trying to do really, is just to kind of get her out of this sort of like, Wanda, wake up kind of thing. But like just to kind of get into her mind, be like, hey, get out of it. And I think that's why he kind of came out of the manhole, just to be like, there's no other way. All right, just go through the manhole.
Okay, and that's why she said no, and she put it in rewind, right, back to the other scene, and then she became pregnant.
That's so.
And then yeah.
So I have reasons why as to kind of like why she said no, and then all the rewind and everything like that.
Like no, she doesn't want to come out of that alternate reality kind of thing.
I'm happy with what's going on right now, so she doesn't want to like leave it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't. This picks up when? After the last Avengers? This is when it picks up? Is this when this is set in the?
This is after Endgame.
Yeah. So Vision's dead.
He died in the last one, right? With the because he had the thing in his head.
So Sorry, I think she's just in a really deep state of mourning. She misses her boyfriend, right? So she's making this alternate like reality based off like she wants happiness with him. She wants to be married to him. She wants to have kids, like things that would have happened if he stayed alive.
The white picket fence.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, and no drama. Like you don't got to save the world. You just be a happy family.
Yeah, you just have a nosy neighbor.
Right. So that's why, like when she saw the Beekeeper, it's like no, that's like another reality. Like I gotta save the world kind of thing too. No, I want to stay in this and be happy, and not have to deal with that kind of stuff.
And be happy. Right?
But I'm bummed.
I'll let myself out.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, she's just in a really deep state of mourning right now.
Yeah. So that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So is she really pregnant, or like will she have a baby?
See, because in the comics, right, she did have twins. I forget.
Well, in the House of M
Yeah.
sort of storyline in the comics. So what happens in that sort of storyline is that in House of M, this is where Scarlet Witch kind of creates this fictional reality, but kind of suffers a mental breakdown and tried to alter reality to recreate her lost sort of children. So yeah, that's what kind of happens with her. But like we said, like she's gone through a lot in the handful of movies that she's been in. Like not much has gone right for her.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone she loves dies.
So this
But it's
series
cool.
is about to get heavy.
Yeah, but it's cool to see her like so happy.
Yeah.
But some interesting characters that we've seen so far. Another agent of S.W.O.R.D. is Geraldine, but that's not actually her name. You can kind of see her being like, I'm and she's kind of like stumbling on her name. So that is actually, I don't know if you guys know who that truly is. If you saw Captain Marvel, this is Monica Rambeau. She is the daughter of Maria Rambeau, who
The
is
pilot?
the pilot. Yeah, so the pilot's daughter.
Oh.
So in
Are
the
we supposed to know that?
I don't
Or it's just
know.
like I was like, was there hints at it?
Some people do their research, Royce.
Like some people know.
Some people know, some people don't.
Really? I just thought she was just a
How did we get
neighbor
that?
wife.
So keep in mind too, Captain Marvel set in the 90s, right? 95.
Oh, was it?
At that point, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, let's say Monica she looked like what, 9, 10 years old?
Yeah.
So at this point, yeah, she's like an adult.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so she's now, and in the comics, she is a agent of S.W.O.R.D. So it's cool to like kind of see her play a part in this too. So I have a feeling, based on what we see in, like in the promos and all this stuff, it's almost as if they've sent her in to go get Wanda, or Monica got trapped with Wanda inside this sort of reality too.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So then that leads to my question. Agnes is supposed to be
Agatha Harkness, supposedly.
right? Because then it's like the last letter and the first two letters.
Agnes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is she?
So Agatha Harkness or Agnes?
Yeah.
So
Agatha
Harkness is a character who survived the Salem witch trials, and she has some other stuff going on too. Like she has some like business with like the Fantastic Four and everything, but specifically, she becomes sort of like this mentor to Wanda to kind of help her like enhance her powers and skills and abilities, but later sort of like turns on her. So if you notice with this, Agnes has been helping her out these first 2 episodes. Getting dinner ready, giving her advice with her life. Yeah.
Yes.
So you see her being this sort of, and here's the thing too, she's credited as nosy neighbor first, and then they reveal her name. They're like, oh yeah, her name's Agnes, no big deal. But yeah, she really is that sort of kind of that TV character, right? Like a Kimmy Gibbler kind of person.
See, Marvel subtly puts in big hints. Just
I just thought she was the neighbor. I didn't even like think that she was like, I was like, she's just the neighbor. I love her.
And the
she
thing
brought
is,
over dinner.
She always talks about her husband,
Ralph.
So I feel like her husband's gonna pop up and be something later on.
So it's possible in the storylines. What happens too is Scarlet Witch is connected to Mephisto, and Mephisto is this sort of basically like the devil of Marvel Comics. And there's like deals being done, like selling your soul to the devil, that kind of thing too. So I'll get into like what I think is going on about that. But yeah, Agnes is just straight up like helping her out, kind of following that sort of Agatha Harkness storyline.
See, but then in the previews, it showed her like in the 80s or something, and it says, "Are you here to help us?" Yeah. So, what is that about?
Yeah, she's everywhere. She's in that car like during Halloween, dressed as a witch.
As a witch? Yeah. Oh! Whoa! I'm not ready.
I haven't seen the trailer for this.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
probably should. There's a lot of.
I went into this watching this blind. Like I had no idea what this was about.
Wow, that is Crazy.
Royce, you're learning so much.
I'm learning a lot. I'm like, my mind is really blown. I'm like, you guys saw all this in the
Like,
show? Like,
Once you watch this episode, then you're
now I have to rewatch it.
yeah.
I
Now you're
think
gonna question
rewatch.
everything.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
it's too
gonna rewatch
deep
too.
for my mind to enjoy it. Like,
Watch it once.
Royce is just gonna be like this the whole time.
Yeah, you're gonna be like this.
like I just thought this was like a 50s sitcom that like had no meaning behind it. Like,
No, there's more under the surface.
great.
Yeah.
There goes my
Great.
mindless watching.
Yeah, like enjoy it the first time you watch it, and then the second time you watch it, like really like
See,
Yeah,
but now that
I'm
he
gonna be
knows
like
it, he's
that.
gonna go into episode 3 like that too. Just be like,
yeah.
Dissect everything. Like, whoa.
All right, so now it's that point of our episode where we go ahead and give our Mickey Ears ratings for this show. So based on the first 2 episodes, what are your guys' ratings for the first 2 episodes of WandaVision?
10, honestly. I will say because I just loved it. I loved the old school feeling. And then we just learned so much from Kris today about all the hidden things. I was like, this is great.
yeah,
So, this is based off the first 2 episodes.
yeah.
So it
That's
could
pretty
change when
Yeah.
we review it again at the end of the season. It probably will be lower because they're going to take away my fantasy, me and Wanda's fantasy. So it's going to break my heart. But right now it's a 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Generally,
I give it for the first 2 episodes. I give it an 8.5. I did like the sitcom part of it. I the subtle kind of hints of what might come up next. I don't know. I think I just wanted a little bit more of like breaking her alternate reality a little bit more. Especially in the first episode. I was expecting a little bit more of it, but I get it. It's just like trying to get you, to see her part of it too. So I get it, but I kind of wanted more.
all right.
I want more.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about it is that
Yeah.
the shows. I think that's the purpose of it. They leave you wanting more.
It's building up to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 just because of that one part. I do want more.
Hmm.
I want more answers. I want to know what the hell
That's
is going on.
Just take it.
Yeah.
That 0.5 is because of my confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
that
get
gives us a total score of 9.3.
Oh.
So IMDb so far has given it a 7.5,
Oh.
but on Rotten Tomatoes it's given it a 97%.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So pretty good so far. Now is the time where we actually go ahead and give it very fittingly. We're gonna give it some magic.
Magic
happens.
All right. So based on the first 2 episodes, how much Disney magic did these first 2 episodes have? Did it have low, medium, or high Disney magic for you guys?
Medium.
Medium, I would
Medium.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see super high later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I'm giving it medium too, because there's
Yeah.
so much more room for other magic to happen too.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, the only magic I really saw was her cooking with that, putting the dishes away, rewinding it, medium.
And I will say I give it a medium because I really love again, it's back to the time period for me.
Hmm.
I really love that era of time. And I think they played up really well. I just didn't, it could have been anything. It didn't have to be Disney. And it wasn't necessarily Marvel for me. It was just kind of its own thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's true. It doesn't necessarily have that Marvel feel to it quite
Yeah.
yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So hopefully, looking forward to watching more of WandaVision. We'll definitely go ahead and do a season review of WandaVision to kind of wrap it all up together and to see who was right and all that. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us here at Filmtasmic. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Make sure you come back next week as we review Safety to get ready for Super Bowl weekend. Remember, we post every Thursday, and you can listen to us on all podcast streaming platforms. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, IG, Anchor, and YouTube, where you can now watch our episodes and even more bonus clips. We'll see you guys real soon.
See you real
See ya.
soon.
This has been lovely.
This has been lovely.
So Covian.